Or whatever. I want to remind you again, for those of you that are leaving us, is that Miss Kathy has been filming every aspect of this. She is our videographer and our historian, and she will put it on Facebook. She's putting each one of them, so you can pick them out if you want them, but they will be available to you to see on Facebook. So next, we'll start with you, Mr. Gregory.
All right, first I'd just say thank you to the DBPA for having this event, having us all out. For those that don't know me, my name is Gary Greger. I'm your Walton County property appraiser. I'm a Christian, I'm a conservative, and I'm a Republican. I'm married to Brent Greger, my smoking hot wife, sitting right here. She don't get to come to many of these, so I had to get some brownie points while she was here. We've been married for 20 years this year, so that's an feat by itself. My experience, I've been in the appraisal business for 29 years. That's all I've ever done. I'm not a professional politician. I'm a professional appraiser. Of course, I've spent the last 4 years as your Walton County property appraiser. I'm going to come back and talk about that here in a little bit. Prior to that, I was with Okaloosa County for 5 years. I was responsible for all the land value in Okaloosa County. And previous to that, I worked for the Florida Department of Revenue. I spent 15 years there. Started out as just a regular appraiser. When I left there the last 2 years, I was a regional service center manager responsible for all 12 counties in the central time zone here in Florida. What the Florida Department of Revenue does is they do audits on the county property appraisers' offices. So we would go in, we would do an appraisal compared to what the assessor has it assessed at, making sure they were treating everybody fairly, equitably, and according to all the laws. So that's what I did for 15 years there. I got a lot of education while I was there. I had probably over 15 classes in the appraisal process, over 300 credit hours as well. Through all my experience, I've seen a lot of things in a lot of counties. I've been in every county in Northwest Florida multiple times. I've seen a lot of things that worked and a lot of things that didn't work. When I got elected here, I feel like I brought the best of the best to Walton County. That was my goal. And I believe our last year or 2 years have shown that. We've been way more efficient, we've been way more effective, and I believe one testament of that is we've reduced times, like processing times for deeds. We're at about 2 to 3 months, now they're about 2 weeks. Processing times for revaluation, we're about 3 months, now it's probably less than a month. And all of our processes have just become a lot more efficient, a lot more effective. We've also had other counties, Wakulla County, Jackson County, Holmes County, and Okaloosa County, kind of seeing what we were doing. They heard about it, they come over here and checked it out, and with the technology upgrades that we made and the workflow processes that we made, we explained it to them. I believe all 4 of those counties copied us, and that's the first time that's probably ever happened with a property appraiser's office here in Walton County, because we were a very basic property appraiser's office. Now with the technology we put in place, the workflow processes we put in place, we're one of the most technological, advanced property appraisers' offices in the whole state. I would put my staff, our technology up against anybody in the state, and I believe we would be right there with them. I did hire a couple of professional appraisers to help with the commercial side process, and that just brings in a wealth of knowledge and integrity to our office. 2 ways to kind of have a report card on your office. One is did you pass the assessment rule? We do that every year, and we've never had an issue. And matter of fact, this year we got it in May. It's the first time it's ever been sent in May. We were just that far ahead of schedule. Secondly are people complaining about their assessments? There's 90,000 parcels in the county, 66,000 residential parcels in the county. This last year, nobody went to VAB about being overassessed on the residential parcels. So that to me, I claim it as an A+. Some may just say A, but that to me tells me we're doing a good job. We're following the laws. People are don't think they're overassessed, and that is all for now. So, Gary Greger, Walton County Property Appraiser.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. I'm going to get clicking along good. Everybody's hanging in there. Thank you. Everybody wants to go see Donald Trump. Real quick, I'm Jonathan Roberts. I'm running for property appraiser. I'm a lifelong resident here in Walton County. I grew up in Phoenix Springs, graduated from Freeport, college in Pensacola, and came back. And I've been a real estate broker for 27 years. So to be a property appraiser, you're going to come from two lanes. This is it. You got to love real estate. You come from the real estate side, or you come from the tax collecting side. And so that's what we're here for. Is what interests me about it is we are talking about it. I think there are improvements that can be made. I'd like to be part of that. I'd like to, and this is an election. So I was encouraged to take part in the system. I've learned so much about running for politics. Having this meeting here today, it's wonderful. This is, I think, the 14th meeting that I've attended where we speak to people face to face. We learn about what's happening, how they feel. A lot of talk about the internet, and it's so funny when Alan says, well, I like the internet. And it's Tony Anderson says, the internet is, it's here. And so what I've always done, approach the internet with the truth and just an open discussion. And if there is anything malicious against somebody's family, that is not acceptable. But once I entered politics, it is now you are expected to speak. And so this is the group of super voters. So everybody here is active. The internet, I have found, when you post, you get all the other people, and then people that don't even live here that have an opinion. But I believe we should embrace it, and I have tried and will continue to try to embrace it and speak up and speak truth and speak up for people of Walton County. I'd like to be involved in improving areas, for instance, exemptions. That is exciting. I think we can do better. And so there is a way to improve the customer service aspect. I appreciate everything that Gary has done. I think I can add to it. I think I can fix it. I think I can fix some areas. Being in real estate, we've never seen the tax values where they are. And so it's stunning. It's stunning. And so if you can, every single chance you get, help a local, help somebody that lives here. There are exemptions. That is exciting. And I believe that's where I can improve. My name is Jonathan Roberts. I'd like your vote. Thank you.
Mr. Gregory, please, and I believe you answered some of these questions, please describe your hands-on experience, training, and certifications in the area of government property appraisers.
Okay, well, I started here in Walton County in 1995, just as a field appraiser, and I worked for 5 or 6 years. I worked for the two previous property appraisers here, Patrick Pilcher and Bill Fountain. Bill Fountain was actually the one that initially hired me. When I left, like I said, I went to the state. I started as an appraiser, worked my way all the way up through the ranks there, and left there the head of the office, managing the whole office for the region for 2 years. I thought I would retire at the state, to be honest with you. Kind of got a call out of the blue from Okaloosa County just because he knew I lived over this way, and he had a job opening. And I tell everybody, if you'd asked me on Thursday, I would have told you I was going to retire with the state of Florida. And on Friday, I turned in my resignation, and 2 weeks later started in Okaloosa County. I knew that kind of opened the door for running for office when Mr. Pilcher decided to retire, so that I pursued that at that point. I am a certified Florida appraiser. I do also hold a professional designation, an assessment administration specialist, which is a very rare professional designation for mass appraisal. It takes about 12 classes to get that. You have to do a case study and about an 8-hour exam. So I'm the only one between Pensacola and Mariana or Tallahassee, I believe. The reason I know that is because you have to have those designations to proctor some tests. So I get calls from people to proctor certain tests. I'm the only one that kind of holds that designation. So that, I believe, covers most of my experience. And like I said, the last 4 years as your property appraiser, I feel like even when I was in Okaloosa County, we had very minimal people petition. My philosophy is to be conservative as we can be by law. State of Florida says we assess at 100% of fair market value. I enforced those laws for many years. I helped develop a lot of those guidelines. I implemented a lot of those and helped, sorry, lost my train of thought, and helped other counties achieve their goals when it comes to that. So I know the system inside and out, and I feel like I bring the best here to Walton County. And I keep it as conservative and as fair and as honest as I can all across the board. So, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Roberts, same question. Please describe your hands-on experience, training, and certifications in the area of government property appraisers.
Well, I've never been in government, and so I'm a real estate broker that has a full license to sell, run offices. I have done that for many years. I have 1,000 transactions. Every single piece of real estate, I'm working for the people. So my aspect of how I look at this, I'm not in government. To get the Certified Florida Appraisal designation, the Department of Revenue, they give that out to everybody that's elected or appointed to the office. I think it's fantastic. I can't wait to go take the class. It teaches the methodology, teaches the system that it's done. Everybody gets it. They welcome it because the position of property appraiser, it is a pressure release valve. It is the one position which is elected by the people for the people. That's it. So no other position in the Department of Revenue, no position in the property appraiser's office. It's that one, and that's the purpose of it. And so I'm excited to enter government work and put everything I can to it, bring all my knowledge of helping people, because when you help somebody buy a piece of real estate, they are worried about the property taxes and the insurance, and that's what they say. That's what they say. They say, if it wasn't for the taxes and the insurance, we can do something about the taxes. And that's what I want to do. The insurance, I mean, I don't know how to fix it, but I know that if I get in and roll up my sleeves and do the best I can help people lower their taxes, and I love low taxes, and that is everything I'm about. I'm low taxes. Thank you, sir.
We'll go ahead and start back with you, Mr. Roberts.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the single most important function of the office of the property appraiser, and how does one achieve it or improve upon it?
Well, its mission is simply to value real estate for the purposes of taxation. That is it. That is the number one mission. And to value it, then the different agencies put on their millage rate. And so the way to improve it, that I want to improve it, that I see, is I've had so many people that aren't my customers, people that aren't people that I've worked with, they don't have the exemptions. They don't have them. And they look to real estate agents, not full brokers, just real estate agents, to teach them about homestead exemption. And so that was one of the most shocking things that I saw, was there has to be outreach. If you are the agency which gives those exemptions out, you can do everything you can. And there's a bunch. There's a bunch. There's if you're disabled, blind, low income. There's exemptions that we can help people. And that's what I see, and what really fires me up is being able to help people. And go from that side where I see people that are literally paying $5,000 a year when they were paying $1,300 a year. And it's a mistake. And they didn't speak up. And so they grumble and they gripe and they say, I wish we just had somebody represent. I'll do it. Let me try. I'd like the job. Let's do it. Let's get a new fresh look. Let's keep the high standard, but let's help the people. That's what I like to do. Thank you.
You need me to repeat
Yes.
it? Okay, what is the single most important function of the office of the property appraiser, and how does one achieve it or improve upon it?
Okay, there's two important things. First off is to assess all the land property fairly and equitably across all the groups, we call them, basically your high value properties all the way to your low value property. That is in the Florida Constitution, and that is what the property appraiser is charged to do. So that therefore makes that one of the most important processes, and we do that very well here in Walton County. Second is administer the exemptions. Exemptions all have criteria to meet. We put out 9 different ways that we push out that information. First off, when somebody buys a piece of property, we mail them a letter directly telling them all about the exemptions. That's any property in Walton County, and it doesn't matter if it goes from John Doe to John Doe's Trust. We'll mail John Doe's Trust a letter telling him about the exemptions in Walton County. We also put out 2 newsletters every 6 months telling all about those. And we help everybody that we can. We also administer the TPP, Tangible Personal Property Rules. There's 14,000 of those accounts in the county. Most people with businesses have to file Tangible Personal Property Rules. We have just implemented some online filing. That's something that's kind of brand new for TPP and to be able to file homestead online. So those are kind of brand new things that we've already done. But those are the 2 important functions, and really the 2 things that the property appraiser is charged with by the Florida Constitution.
Mr. Greger, please explain the difference between a real estate appraisal and one done by the property appraiser's office.
Okay. All right, a real estate appraisal, like if you're buying a piece of property and you go to the bank, we actually refer to them as a fee appraisal. So you have a fee appraisal and then you have a mass appraisal. A fee appraisal is what I did when I was with the Florida Department of Revenue. That is a single piece. You're looking at one single piece of property. You're looking at one house. You're looking at one restaurant. You know that. So you're going and getting comps. You're getting land values. You're costing it out, and you're coming up with a value on that one specific piece of property. That is different than what we do with the county, and that's why I have my professional designation is in mass appraisal, and what we do with the county is we don't look at one restaurant. We look at all the restaurants in the county that are similar. We don't look at one house. We look at all the houses in the, so, and we apply a rate and then factors to that. That's mass appraisal, and so that is the difference in mass appraisal and fee appraisal. So when you're looking at everything, you know, like at the county level as a mass, it's, you know, you're not going to be, you might be 100% on one sale in the neighborhood, you might be at 80% on another sale in the neighborhood, you might be at 60% on another sale in the neighborhood. But when you look at it as a whole, we're going to be where, you know, we'll make the adjustments to where we're going to be where we're going to be to pass the guidelines that we have to follow. So that's the difference. One is very specific to a property. The other is broadcasted, you know, through a neighborhood or all those types of properties in that area. So.
I think that's great.
What he said, right?
Sure. I mean, we don't need, let's keep going. Yeah. Let's get
Just the difference between a real estate appraisal and one done by the property appraiser's office.
Well, I think that definition, that's good. Let's talk about it. If you get an appraisal from a bank and you're borrowing money, they're going to use comparable sales. They're going to look at all the differences in the house. They're going to get something that's sold like your house, and they're going to base it as for the purposes of that loan. And so the property appraiser is appraising for the purposes of taxation. And so you also get to pull the exemptions off of that. So you really, an appraisal for regular real estate, you're one high. You're one high. And the other way, and this is, some people got to, you know, change the way you're thinking it. For real estate property appraisals, you're not wanting it high. I mean, nobody wants their property appraised high. That is a difference. That's a big difference. And just getting, you know, thinking about it that way. But both use comparable sales to justify the value, but you're able to use a different methodology through the Department of Revenue to go the property appraisal route. So it's a different lane rather than general appraisal. Yeah.
This is the one we're looking for, the last one.
Let's go.
Okay.
Thank you all for hanging in there. Waiting for us. We're the last ones, and thank you. Go
All
ahead.
right, Mr. Robert, are you satisfied that the public understands the processes used by the property appraiser's office to establish correct appraisals If not, how would you improve their understanding?
I don't think they know. I think the general public thinks it's like some kind of weird magic. That is really, they're like, well, how did he get that appraisal? How did he get that value? How come I gotta pay this? How do you get this homestead? There is so much confusion, and then they rely on real estate agents, which is the lowest level of licensed people to get to sell real estate. They are relying on that person to give them the knowledge. I think a good outreach program could really work and just helping people. There is something called the 11 steps on how to service the taxpayer. And it puts the taxpayer and reminds the property appraiser's office. And it's guidelines. It's just a different way of thinking about how to run government offices. And it's how you remember that the taxpayer is really the boss. And that you always try to help the taxpayer. You educate the taxpayer. So when the taxpayer comes in, they say, well, maybe I qualify for low income. Well, let's see if you do. Let's see. Let's see what we can do for you, because we're going to try. And that is a very exciting part of the office. That getting people discounts, they are due those discounts. They deserve them. Let's give it to them every single time. And if you can transfer real estate without triggering a reassessment, do it every single time. Offer it to the public. Put it on the website. It's not right now. And so we can do better. We can do better. And I'd like to be part of it. Thank you.
Okay, are you satisfied that the public understands the processes used by the property appraiser's office to establish correct appraisals? If not, how would you improve the understanding?
I feel the general public, for the most part, understands, and we do spend a lot of time trying to explain it. First off, you get a trim notice mailed to you every August, which breaks it down bit by bit. It tells you exactly where each of your dollars are going. If you spend time and look at that trim notice, and you can call us if we need to explain it, and we do that a lot. So we do that every year. Everybody that owns property in the county gets one of those every year. That's a requirement by law. We do push out, like I said, we push out notices all the time on social media. We have the 2 mail outs, with one every 6 months that we push it out to try to inform people. We put it on a billboard 2 months before deadlines in dense areas. So we run it in the newspaper, in the north end, south end, everywhere. We run it for 2 months in the newspaper about that. So if anybody has any more ideas that they think would help that, I would be glad to hear, because I really feel like we do a lot to push out that info. And like I said, they do get a direct mail in their mailbox at least once a year, and not to mention the newsletters and all that go out. So I believe if they're concerned just a little bit about their property and do their due diligence, then they understand the process.
All right, Jill, we'll give you just a few minutes to sum up. Maybe you have the microphone.
Okay. All right, I'm going to kind of pick up where I left off before. Like I said, we've done a bunch of improvements and technology improvements, workflow processes, hired professional appraisers. We've done a lot of that in the last 4 years. We've been able to do that while Walton County has experienced growth like it's never seen before. We've made all those improvements. And lastly, we've done it and we've kept a conservative budget. The budget did increase, yes, but we're still the lowest budgeted office, property appraiser's office, of any of the panhandle coastal counties. We're about 20% less than Okaloosa County, Santa Rosa County, very similar counties to us. They have very similar properties, very similar offices. We do it about 20% less than what they do it. And like I said, I believe our processes, our workflows, our technology is actually better than theirs. So I'm very proud of that point. Almost as proud of that as I am about nobody really complains about being overassessed. So that is one thing I'm really proud of. That's one thing I drive home to the employees. We're going to be as conservative as possible. We're there to serve the public. We're going to do everything we can. We help any way we can. We'll help you fill out forms. We'll help you file a VAB form against us. If you want to file a form against us and dispute that, we will gladly help you in that process. We're there to serve. We're there to help. Again, I'm just, I love Walton County. I grew up here. My kids grew up here, and I want to bring the best of the best to Walton County. Gary Greger, Walton County Property Appraiser. I appreciate you voting on this. One last thing, the QR code on these, if you scan that QR code, it does tell you a brief bio about me and does give all my work history in pretty good detail.
Thank y'all again. To be a tax taker, there is an equation for it. That's it. I mean, there is an equation for the Department of Revenue, mass appraisals. There's an equation to take taxes and all the forms that have to be filled out. 11 commandments for the public servant, and I'm not going to read all 11, but let me tell you, taxpayers, they are the boss. They are not people you argue with, you do not match wits with, you do not ridicule. They are the reason for that office. They are the reason that we have all the nice things. So being a public servant, helping the people, that sounds fun. And put me to work. I'd like the job. My name's Jonathan Roberts. Thank you.